Hi, I'm Suzette Standring, and I'm going to share with you a piece that I was performing today with Expressing Motherhood comedy show. I was married at the age of 18, and many would say to me, "Oh, you were a child bride." And I can never resist saying, "No, more like a bride with child." Back in 1974, my daughter emerged from the womb with oversized eyes filled with ancient wisdom, kind of like a space alien, and I named her Starr. And when you have a child at that young age, your motherhood GPS is recalculating all the time. And I will now admit that I've made some bad decisions. For example, at the time, I couldn't afford a car, but I could afford a motorcycle. And there we would be cruising to preschool on my bike with no helmets. I know. No, she didn't ride behind me. She rode on the tank in front of me. I mean, how bad do you think I am? I didn't sign her up for sports or really get involved with her school too much because I didn't really want to get up early on a Saturday morning to attend games. And being so young and immature, I thought I didn't really want to socialize with all those old fogey parents in their late 20s. Starr was a latchkey kid in the 1980s. She would get home from school at 3:30 and I would get home at 6. And one time I was trying to coordinate a delivery of a washer and dryer from Montgomery Wards. And it occurred to me, hey, she's in the 3:30 to 6:30 slot. She can help me out. So when I came home, and may I add, she was 8 years old. That day, my appliances were installed. I was really excited, but only then did it occur to me, wow, she was alone at home with some strange guy. How did she even know who he really was, if he was a real delivery guy? And my 8-year-old replied, well, when the doorbell rang, I yelled through the door, "Are you from Montgomery Wards?" And the man said, yes. And I said, "Do you have a washer and dryer?" And he said, "Yes, I do." So I opened the door, Mommy. I only reveal that now because Starr is 45 and there's no way that Protective Services can take her from me today. I was the exuberant Leo and Starr was the steadfast Capricorn. And I can't tell you how many times that little girl would say to me in a very doubtful voice, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And my response was always, "Hey, who's the mother here?" Followed by a, "Okay, I get your point." When she graduated, I wanted us to have an adventure. And so I took her to Bali. And we took the 22-hour flight with no plans, no reservations, just a, hey, let's land and see what happens. And we made it. Obviously, we're here. But the problem was that one night after dinner, I had the bright idea to take a shortcut back to our cabin in the rice fields through the monkey forest. And it was dark and scary. And we were holding each other, kind of walking through the forest alone and really scared. And my daughter said, "I hope we don't see any monkeys." And I was thinking of much, much worse. And all I could do was clutch her to me going, what am I doing? Chanting, shit, shit, shit. But when she went to college, I remember I went there for a visit. And she asked me, "What do you want to do tonight, Mom?" And I said, "Take me to one of them thar raves." She said, "I'm not taking my mother to a rave. Why do you want to go?" "I want to see what goes on." "No way, I'm not taking you." "Hey," I said, "I'll put on a pair of baggy pants. I'll screw an earring into my nose, and I'll wear a baseball cap backwards. Nobody needs to know that I'm your mom." And she said, "No way. We're going to the movies. We're going to see City Slickers. And that's it, Missy." Well, now I look back and I wonder just how much grist I've given Starr for the therapist. After all, I have been married 3 times, and my daughter has to buy her Father's Day cards in bulk. To paraphrase Gertrude Stein, there's a lot of there. But years ago, when she was in college, I remember she came home and she was telling me about a friend of hers who was on the brink of suicide. The girl felt alone, alienated from her family, rejected. It was just really so sad. And it really heartened me to hear Starr say, "No matter what, Mom, I could never feel that way. I always knew you loved me. I always know that." Now I'm 65 and Starr has 2 teenage daughters of her own. And as you can imagine, my approach to helping to raise Bella and Lulu is very different. I am measured, protective, dare I say, wiser. Way back in 1974, I was terrified when I realized I was going to become a mother. And I thought about all the opportunities I would lose, the financial struggles of being tied down. But the journey of motherhood gave me a sense of joy and wonder and a fullness that I could have never predicted at that age. And now I realize that being uncertain can fill a person with fear. But there's a beauty to uncertainty and not knowing what the future holds, because it means there are so many possibilities. Happy Mother's Day to all who mother so many, biologically or not.